Without wasting so much time, I'll be introducing our first speaker that will be talking about smart city, unified duct infrastructure, and open access. You will have seen what is going on around Lagos State. And so we have a representative from La Simra and the person of Engineer Adeyemi representing the general manager, Mrs. Coker. So he'll be talking to us about what is going on, smart city, unified duct infrastructure, and open access.
His Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Science and Technology, Honorable Akim Pham. Good morning and welcome to this session. The host of this event, Network Operators Group and Internet Exchange Point of Nigeria, permit me to adopt the well-established protocol in this event going forward. I extend the apologies of the General Manager of La Simra, Engineer Mrs. Bisoye Koka Odushote, who is unable to be present at this occasion. She's the one who's supposed to make this presentation. But I think maybe not, I'll be able to capably stand in for her. We want to look at the smart cities. Okay, so we have the topic is smart cities, unified duct infrastructure, and open access. So, well, I think we did that already. The protocols permit me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome. And I want to express the sincere appreciation, to the organizers for the honor to speak at this event. Okay, so we want to look at smart cities, infrastructure, and open access. So what are the components of a smart city? So on your screen there we have, I want to start from smart government, all right, which is going on in Lagos right now. We want to look at smart manufacturing, smart and digital citizens, both personal and corporate. We want to look at the concept of open data availability. We want to look at smart health, smart farming and agriculture, smart buildings, a smart grid, that is energies and utilities, and smart transportation. So this is what you call the smart city phenomenon, the circle. What is a smart city is a metropolitan area that is driven by information communication technologies, right? And this concept shares information with citizens who are able to use those information to make decisions, in terms of resource management. And then ultimately, we have what you call increase and enhancement of operational efficiencies, both personal and group. Next slide, please. So we want to look at the smart city in terms of the Lagos State developmental themes agenda. The first pillar on the team's agenda is traffic management and transportation. And I can tell you that Lagos State has, that mode has been initiated and is, working well. So you have a lot of pointers to that. The lattice, Lagos State traffic information systems on most of the billboards that you see, they give you real life information about commute time from one place in the city to the other. That is an element of a smart city. You want to look at transportation. We have the Cowrie card that you're able to use across modes of transportation on the ferry, on the buses, and you can even use them for, financial purposes. So that's also an element of, a smart city. You want to look at, that's the themes agenda, you want to look at the health and environment. We have an environment, we have tools and equipment around the city that measure, the environmental ambience. I want to talk about air quality, water quality, soil quality, and then, they fuse all of this and they give us what you call the early warning systems, in terms of flooding and other things like that. That's on the part of the Ministry of Environment. Then we have all our hospitals in Lagos have been connected to the internet. So basically, when you have data and all of that, it's possible for you to actually have remote health systems, telemedicine. That's what we call it in Lagos State. So it's active now. So somebody, a medical personnel can actually conduct an operation right from his office in UK, using telemedicine. We want to go to, that's education and technology. So on education and technology, we have a lot of schools, primary schools and secondary schools that have been connected to the internet already. And beyond that, we have one of the first and only mechatronics lab in, Nigeria, on a PPP arrangement, and some other ICT labs. Most schools now have ICT labs that are connected to the internet, so there's much progress on that. Then we come to making Lagos a 21st century, entertainment and tourism. Well, Lagos is where the data is. All of the major companies are here in Lagos, and your connectivity, you have connectivity across board. So the social media is very active, and we have been able to use the social media to actually promote, tourism and entertainment. Most of our actors and all of that have been able to upload their art onto the YouTube and other social media, whatever, so that you can stream. So that is part of, what we are talking about in Lagos. Then you go to making Lagos a 21st century economy. I know that a lot of companies are here in Lagos, trying to do business, because what we have is a partnership where Lagos provides a level of infrastructure and support, and then the private sectors will come in and be able to do some other things. So right now in Lagos, you have about 6 cables, undersea cables that have landed and on the shore and have been connected, to data centers and all of that. And we see a lot of companies, coming in, into the ICT sector. Then we want to talk about security. Under security, you have a lot of points of interest connected to the internet. The high courts, the courts in Lagos are connected to the internet. It's part of security, so you can have, justice delivered and on time. You have other institutions. You have security cameras. We have a few places where we have speed cameras in Lagos. We are testing that, and then you now have the automatic number plate recognition system, where all the plate numbers that are all the cars with plate numbers in Lagos are connected to a server. So any car plate number is automatically recognized once you go through the camera, and then you can do a lot of tracing. It is very important for security. So we are now asking, what characterizes the smartness of a city, right? So you want to look at the infrastructure based around technology. For a city, you must be able to provide the infrastructure to drive the kind of city that you want to have. So in that regard, we have what you call the Unified Duct Infrastructure Project, where we have 6,000 kilometers of unified ducts available for companies to use around Lagos. There's a level of, that is to take care of 0 to to maybe 25 to 50 years. So you have some level of redundancy now, hoping that there'll be growth, and then you can take up that growth. You want to look at environmental initiatives. Like I mentioned the other time, I mentioned about the use of technology for measurement of environmental ambience and indicators. Air purity, water quality, soil, and to build the early warning systems around the city for flooding, for other natural phenomenon, cyclones and all of that. So we have that. Then people should be able to live, work, and play within the city using the resources of the city. So what do I mean? You should be able to use the transport system, right? You should be able to use other things, the road and other infrastructure to do your commuting, to do some of those things that you like to do. So you have confident and progressive city plans. I mentioned the issue of the UDIP, and I mentioned the fact that and then effective and highly functional public transportation system. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so key indicators of a smart city transformation: use of information communication and technology for building control and automation. We have seen that around here. Most of the corporate buildings around Lagos, especially where we're in now, have ICT built into it, especially with regards to the security. So you can't come in here if there's no access control. So you have power and you have data that's able to drive access control into some of these premises, and we have a few number of them around that. Then you have to talk about efficient urban planning to be able to take all of these utilities that you want to put in the ground to make a smart city. So you want to talk about urban mobility and sustainable public transportation. You want to look at the smart waste management system. You want to look at improving environmental sustainability, so that some of the resources that we take from our environment are still available for generations to come. You want to look at the concerns for social environment, technologies applied to education, technologies applied to health, advanced commerce systems, and other things like that. Next slide, please. So then we come to the issue of open access. This is talking about what open access means. Open access means, the availability, the ability to have access to the network and data. And I think we have quite a number of regulation that speaks to that around Lagos. So some of our public places are actually on Wi-Fi, so that you can go there, you can actually connect to the internet, and you can do whatever you want to do. Maybe financial transactions, and so many other things, businesses and other things like that. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that's still talking about the open access for network providers and regulators. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so in conclusion, I want to look at the ultimate objective of smart city systems. So for me, it will be governance and resource management. Resource management, so you want to look at governance, you want to look at the policies and regulations that will drive the smart city. Where is the cutoff date? Where is the baseline data? Where can we say, okay, look, this is a smart city already. So, okay, so we're going to be a smart city completely, 100% in, say, X years. Now, we need everybody to latch on to the smart city initiative and digitize, their operations, because that is really important. We should be able to have that, so that can now populate, the database, and then we can tap that data and use. So that goes into resource planning, because once you have data, you're able to plan. In this location, how many of us are here? What are the resources that are required to drive the people that are here? Logistics, procurement, food, supply chains, and all of that. Once you have the information, the database, you'll be able to do all of that, and you'll be able to even project, okay, tomorrow in a week's time, these are the number of people that are going to be at this location. So we will need X, Y, Z. Who are the source? Where do we get them from? So that is very important, so for a smart city resource planning. So you want to look at population and demographics, right? So what is the population that we are catering to, really? Lagos State has a population, estimated population about 23 million, right? Out of that, what is the mobility index, right? Say we're about 40%. That means about 9.6 million people who go out of their houses every day. That is 10 million people plus times 2. When they go out, they come back. That's 20 million trips a day. How do we organize our city to be able to take care of these 20 million people that are, and so many other things, petrol supply. So that goes back to urban planning, right? You have a pipe that takes petrol from the source, right, to where the petrol station is supposed to be, to where the gas supply is supposed to be. So those are part of the things that you want to consider in urban planning and providing infrastructure for the smart city. You want to look at geospatial data systems, right? What is where, especially in terms of network, in terms of the duct system, in terms of other facilities that are in the ground, water pipes, gas pipes, power. What power is available? Is it 33 kVA? Is it 132? Is it 330? We need to know all of that so that people who want to use these facilities can actually adequately plan using geospatial data. And then you want to have a comprehensive database management system. I don't want to use comprehensive. I want to use integrated database management systems that marries the population demographics, resource planning, and geospatial data. So that, at the touch of a button, you can run a few things and, be able to use that for resource management. Next slide, please. So when you now talk about smart city, you now go back to city planning, management, and operation. Because really, when you have all of these systems, it becomes, the go-to mode for you to be able to operate and manage your cities. So if there's a breakdown of a vehicle on the road, how do we manage it? Is the information available? So if it's available, what provisions have we made to be able to remove that in little time without causing disruptions? What about logistics? Okay, so let me talk about petrol stations. What about the cities of the future that are going to run on fuelless mobility? So have we planned all the charging points that we need to put in place? Do we have enough electricity to be able to drive this thing and in the right places? So that is really important. Then ultimately, when you have all of that, city planning, management, and operation, we use the integrated database systems to be able to manage a consistent, efficient, and effective resource management overall. Thank you.